Hi everyone, I am TONGLI and together with my friend Afiq and NATASHA, we are from Group 2 Kuliah 6 and today we are going to present on the topic Neuromuscular Junction. So the subtopic that we are going to cover in this presentation is shown in this table. Okay, let's proceed to the introduction. So where is the neuromuscular junction? It is a gap where the synaptic cleft it separates the axon terminal from the scleroderma. So now we are going to learn the structures of the junction. This is how the neuromuscular junction look like in a simple diagram. So to look closely, this is our muscle fiber, and when we zoom in, we can see the myofibril, and this is the neuromuscular junction. When we zoom in, we can see this is actually the neuromuscular junction that we are talking about. So the scleroderma is this membrane, while the myofibril is this part over here. And next, when we zoom in, we can see the synaptic vessel over here, synaptic cleft, acetylcholine esterase, sodium ion, and also the ACH receptor. Okay, next, we will proceed on the functions to know more about how they work. So the synaptic cleft is actually this region over here. It separates the axon terminal to the scleroderma. Next one is motor neuron, which is this thing over here. It sends the nerve impulse to axon terminal. And the axon terminal, the bud over here, they receive ACH from synaptic vessels. While the acetylcholine ACH, it is a neurotransmitter that binds to the receptor in scleroderma. Okay, where is scleroderma? It is just now that we said the membrane. Here, it generates the impulses down T tubulus, where the sarcoplasmic reticulum, which is the yellow color thing over here, it releases the calcium that causes the filament in sarcomeres to slide past one another. And the sarcomere is this region over here. It contracts and causes myofibril contraction, which result in the muscle fiber and then muscle contraction. And this is the last one, enzyme ACHE. It breaks down the acetylcholine and then the muscle contraction ceases. Okay, we have finished on the structures and function.
I'm going to present about the importance of neuromuscular junction. So, I think the main importance of neuromuscular junction is skeletal muscle constructions. So, we all know that skeletal muscle construct only happen when it stimulate with a nerve impulse from a motor neuron. But it will not happen without innervations. So muscle will become paralyzed and eventually atrophies. So, neuromuscular junction act as a specialist site that connect the terminal of motor neuron axon to the skeletal muscle for muscle construction. So, I'll give an example. Our hands, uh, neuro, neuromuscular junctions will act as site that connect the motor neurons to the muscle fiber for our hand can move. Next, it also at transducing the motor neuron electrical path from a nervous system to the muscle fiber. So it will resulting in a muscle fiber actions. So it also known as action potential. So both our hand, our legs can move freely. Next, the site neuromuscular junction is a site for transmission of action potential from nerve to the muscle. Finally, neuromuscular junction also for the site for many diseases and the site action for many morphological drugs. What I know about this is at this I see here at this site of neuromuscular junction, it also the action for the block the disease of and the drug to the block the disease and drugs at the nuclear muscular junction. We can see here the process of neurons to the muscle fiber for action potential. So It acts at a site that connect the terminal of the neuron motor to the muscle fiber for the potential action potential. So our hand, our legs can move freely, and we can do our daily life, our daily works.
First, I'm going to explain on the disease related to neuromuscular junction. So, the first one, we have the botulism, which is a neuroparalytic disease of humans and animals that caused by the action of botulinum neurotoxin. So, botulinum neurotoxin is a toxin that is produced by Clostridium botulinum, which is a gram-negative anaerobic bacteria. So, this disease is related to neuromuscular junction since it can malfunction the neuromuscular by blocking the acetylcholine from being released. So, acetylcholine is one of neurotransmitter that function by sending signal to other cells, such as neurons, muscle cells, and gland cells. So the failure of secreting acetylcholine causing muscle paralysis and atrophy. The next one, we have the Lambert-Eaton myasthenic syndrome. So, which is an autoimmune disorder of the neuromuscular junction, in which autoimmune disorder means immune system mistakenly attack your cell's body. So the antibodies are again the presynaptic calcium channel. So the attack occurs between the connection of nerve and muscles. The immune system attack the calcium channel on nerve ending, causing less release of acetylcholine. So they sometimes associated with paraneoplastic syndrome, which is the small cell lung cancer. So the symptom is muscle weakness, hand and feet tingling, trouble breathing, and dry mouth. So next, I'm going to explain on the drug acting on the neuromuscular junction. So, neuromuscular blocking drug is used to paralyze patient for surgery. We have two types, which is the depolarizing and the non-depolarizing. So, the first one is the depolarizing drugs. Depolarizing drug act as an acetylcholine receptor agonist in which they bind to the ACH receptor of the motor end plate and generate an action potential. However, they are resistant to and not metabolized by acetylcholine esterase, leads to persistent depolarization of muscle fiber and cause paralysis to the patient. Non-depolarizing drugs act as a competitive antagonist toward acetylcholine. They bind to the ACH receptor, which is the nicotinic alpha subunit. They prevent ACH from binding, causing no developing of action potential. They produce the skeletal muscle relaxation and paralysis to the patient. Most common non-depolarizing drug is the serum. Come to the conclusion. So muscle require innervation to function, allow muscle contraction, as well as to maintain muscle tone to avoid atrophy. In this topic, you are able to learn the structure, function, importance, disease, and drug acting on the neuromuscular junction.
Good afternoon, Dr. Hafizuddin. I am AIMAN and my friend Fu and Natasha. We would like to interview you to learn more about the disease of Myasthenia gravis. So I will pass to the Fu.
Okay, my first question to doctor is that how common is this disease among Malaysians?
We have the case of Myasthenia gravis is around like 5 to 6% in every year, and this case is infected women like 3 times more than the men.
The second question is: do you have any experience treating the patient of myasthenia gravis? And if you have one, would you mind sharing it with us?
Sure. I have one case. The patient is actually a lady. Is around like 30, around 30 years old. So she presented with enlargement of the mediastinum by the chest X-ray and proceeded with the CT scan, which diagnosed as thymoma. So we started with the patient with the IVIG, which is the IV immunoglobulin for 5 days. That eventually the patient getting improved. The muscle power is getting back. The management for that patient is like during that time it's actually more to supportive management, where we protect the airway and also we try to take over the ventilations until the patient's power is getting back. And she's discharged home after that.
So my next question is this disease curable?
So is it curable or not? It's basically we can actually control the patient's conditions. It's not like 100% it's can be cured. For the basic ABs, most probably they need a quite long-term medication. For example, like anticholinesterase inhibitor, for example, like pyridostigmine, and also long-term of corticosteroid.
Okay, doctor, now I proceed to the last question. Could you explain more about how a person can contract myasthenia gravis, and is it heritable?
So it's not hereditary. It's an innate contagious to the body, because it doesn't mean that if your mother have this illness, the son or the daughter also can have.
Okay, thank you, doctor. Now we can understand more about this disease.
Okay, thank you, Doctor and Fu and Natasha. So I think that all the question from us. Thank you, Doctor, for your time and have a nice day.
Okay, thank you so much, everyone.